This is our last lesson for Unit 5, so let's get down to it. So this last section that we're going to discuss is the adaptations of living organisms. And within the word adaptations, I'm sure you can see the word adapt. And that is probably a term that is familiar with you. And adaptations are basically going to be a characteristic that improves an organism's chance of surviving or reproducing. So things that can adapt or potentially evolve or change over time. These characteristics that can help them improve, there's actually three we're going to focus on. The first one is structural, which are going to be actual physical features. So you can see in this first picture here, the structural adaptation of the cacti is their different types of roots. So some will go very shallow to the surface so that as it rains, it can quickly absorb that before it evaporates in the desert. Or other types of desert plants have roots that go very, very deep down into the water table that enables them to tap into that when the temperatures and precipitation are very low. The other type of adaptation is behavioral, and that's actually what's happening here with our zebras. So, zebras have a couple of different adaptations, but the reason why I'm highlighting this as a behavioral adaptation is because they travel in herds. Now, their stripes on them are actually would be a structural adaptation because that's what helps confuse their predators while they're running. But the fact that they travel in herds, when they start to zigzag and try to escape their predators, it confuses them and helps majority of them survive. And the last type of adaptation is physiological, and this is going to be like the internal or cellular feature of an organism. So the key thing that I want you to think about in terms of physiological is that the adaptation is coming from a cellular level. So this snake here has venom inside of it, and that is obviously poisonous to not only defend itself, but also to stun and capture its prey. So that venom is made at a cellular level. So that is why that is a physiological adaptation. So, what you will need to be able to determine is if you are given a specific feature or characteristic of an organism, you will need to be able to determine if it's a structural, behavioral, or a physiological adaptation. Now, obviously, these adaptations help plants and animals survive in their specific regions. There's a reason why cactus don't grow in the temperate deciduous rainforest because of their adaptations. And these types of characteristics help them survive in the conditions that they currently are living in. So, like I mentioned about the desert plants having shallow roots and the zebra stripes helping staying in a herd to confuse a lion. So, the stripes are going to be physiological once again, and the behavior of staying in a herd is going to be a behavioral adaptation. And then that snake producing the venomous liquid inside of their cells. So, those are just kind of specific examples of those different types of adaptations, and we'll practice some more with that in class.